right. I want to double check to make sure that we are on. Can somebody send me a message on our new live chat thing? I'm not exactly sure. Last week, we put on, I did not get this thing going until 12 minutes into, I was painting for 12 minutes before I realized I wasn't on. And so I want to make sure that we are on. And that is my little thing here. Okay. So if you're watching and we are live, would you mind putting a little message in? Okay. There we go. And now I'm just getting a message from my hubby, so that's good. I've got the voices just a little bit low. Is that any better? Tell me how we're doing. I know we've been having a little bit of issues, but I'm going to get this sound up a little bit as high as I can go. Okay. Well, all right. Hey, we're going to have some fun tonight. I'm Nettie Kaye, and we're going to be doing a special little thing. Okay, it's better, he says. Yay. So this is kind of fun, having my little chat on. I have not ever put the chat on. Now I'm realizing I've been missing out a little bit. So I hope you guys are watching. Tonight we're doing this thing called wine time. My student, Terry, has a let's see, we have a little bit of an issue here with our sound. I'm going to have my hubby come in and have it and see if he can fix it a little bit, because I don't want you to miss out on anything. My student Terry has a mom who's 92, and every day at 4 o'clock, and here comes my husband, I'm so happy, maybe he can figure out what's going on with our sound. Say hi, everybody. And then, so every day at 4 o'clock, she does this marvelous a little habit of having a glass of wine. She's 92 years old. So everything has to shut down, and we have our little glass of red wine every day at 4 o'clock. When you're 92, you can do whatever you want, you know? Well, this is fun. This is such a broad camera, you can fit everything in. So I've got over here, you can see I've got I've got a little setup with a bottle of wine. This is a head snapper. It reminds me of myself. So the wine, don't recommend that you buy it. It's not that great, but the label was sure cool. You know, I buy them for the label half the time. So, and then I found this really neat alarm clock. Check this out. Whoops, I just about dropped it here. This is my neat alarm clock that I found at the thrift store for like $4. That was pretty cool. And so he's now checking this sound. Isn't that good? It's nice to have help tonight, because, you know, most of the time, you know, you wonder, do I really know what I'm doing? I hope so. All right. So anyway, so we have the little alarm clock, which is an amazing, look at the shine on that. It's just so cool. Anyway, and then a glass of wine over there. It looks a little blue, doesn't it? Whoa. Yeah. So it's wine o'clock. That's right. It's wine o'clock. I should have put 1 o'clock instead of wine o'clock. So here we go. And a little glass. Now, when you're setting up a still life, everybody, you want to have things in differing levels. Like, you don't want to have everything the same across. You want to have them in scale. I've got my wine bottle like this. And then I have down here, I have my little clock. And then the wine glass is slightly above that. How's it sounding, Dr. Williams? One more adjustment. He's going to fix this up a little bit. Someday I'm going to have one of those really cool headset things, you know, one of those Garth Brooks things. Who knows? Anyway, that's right. Okay. Christina, nice to see you tonight. And we've got a few that are coming on a little bit later. But meanwhile, let us know where you're coming in from. This is new. I'd love to know where you're coming in from, where you're joining us from. We are in McCall, Idaho. So anyway, so that's the main thing. Overlap your objects or separate them. We set up a still life last night in class, and it took quite a while to get everything in order, because it takes longer pretty much than painting the thing sometimes. Sometimes it takes me 3 hours to set up a still life if I'm really getting serious about myself. But okay, so you have it 3 different levels, 3 different sizes of objects, and you don't want 2 of the same size objects ever next to each other, especially, or bumping into each other. That's called a kiss, if you ever watched Helen Van Wyck. Yeah. So you want to make sure that you have your objects either overlapping slightly or apart from one another. And in this case, we're just overlapping everything. All right, we're overlapping, got a little fabric overlapping the bottle. The clock from my perspective, is overlapping the bottle from there. And then everything seems to be, well, the clock is overlapping the glass. I know that's kind of hard to see, but that's where we're at. So now, how am I going to approach this? Well, number one, I've got one of the things that we started doing in class this last week was an experiment in black and white and then glazing color. Now, we're not going to do that tonight just because, but it's kind of a fun thing. If you want to try something really interesting, is to go and paint it in acrylic first and then let it dry for a few minutes and then glaze color over the top. But anyway, we are not going to do that. We're going to start out with a pretty thin application of paint. And I'm going to start with a small brush, just a little round brush like this. And we're going to begin with a little bit of thinner in my little jar here. Hope you guys are having a really good day today. It's been snowing in McCall. Yay, finally. We had, this week would have normally been Winter Carnival week. Can you imagine? We had no snow for the longest time. And so we would have had 2 weekends with no snow at all. So it wouldn't have been really, not very wintry, that's for sure. But last night when we got out of class, we had 8 inches. And so we almost had to dig ourselves out of the parking lot. That was fun. Anyway, all right. So I've got this 20 by 20. This is a 20 by 20 square canvas. Now I have to figure out where I'm going to put everything. So I'm going to start out with a little bit of, I'm going to actually use a little bit of a brown application of paint. This is sap green with a little bit of magenta. So that makes a brown, yeah. So I'm going to put my bottle, I'm going to take a line and I'm going to say, all right, my bottle is going to come down straight. I'm going to make it straight to me. I hope it looks straight to you. I'm just making a fat line to start with right here. And I'm making it up and down. Okay, like that. And now I'm going to take the green. I'm going to just jump into a little bit of color. So I want to actually think about this and go, all right, maybe I want the top of that bottle right there. And so then I'll come in with my little towel and kind of chop that off a little bit like that. And then I'm going to go in with my thinner, wipe off my brush, and then I'm going to say, all right, there's the top of the bottle, and we'll make this relatively life size because I can. Yes, I can. Awesome. All right, so now I'm going to come in and I'm going to say this neck of the bottle goes down to right about there, and then the cloth is going to come right about there. Doesn't that look fancy? Sign it and put in the gallery. No, maybe not. Okay. So now I've got this kind of positioned a little bit, and then this is the center of the bottle, not the whole bottle. Duh. Okay. So what I want to do next is I'm going to take my green. This is a green bottle because it's a Cabernet something, Sauvignon, something like that. And then we're going to, actually I'm going to bring it down just a little bit more. So the top, let's bring it way down. I've got the top part is red right here. And then I'm going to bring the shoulders down just a little bit further. See, now you can correct it like that. And then we'll paint the background in. It won't be, you can just keep playing around until you get it just the way you want it. So right like that. So we've got our center line down to there. Now, how do I make it nice and straight so I don't look like I'm drawing around the outside? Really, really important. really important. So, oh my goodness, I just realized Christina, it's 2 a.m., so she may have to catch up with you later. Good night. Where in the world are you from? That's awesome. Yeah. Okay. 2 a.m. somewhere. Anyway, thanks for watching, but you can also watch me again tomorrow. Hopefully you can tune back in and watch the live downloads. That'll be good. Okay, so now I'm going to take this and I'm going to say, all right, I want to see how far apart. So I've taken that center line. This is the middle of the bottle right there. And then I'm going to say, all right, from here, this is kind of the shoulder area right here. I'm going to take it down at the same time like that. And then I'm going to go straight down. I'm going to decide how fat it is by just going like this. Okay, a little bit like that. That's super cool. All right, I'm going to go like this. And then we're going to go straight down on the side when I decide how fat I want this bottle to be. So I'm going to put a fat mark right here, and I can always adjust it later. I can just make it bigger and bigger and bigger. And then I'm making it all the way down like this. Okay, how far down does this go? A little bit farther. So I'm just kind of looking at it, and I'm making it a little bit farther when I see, okay, where's the label and this sort of thing. I'm putting the label about that point, and then the label comes down, and you actually see quite a bit of the label. So I'm going to go like that, and there's a triangle of the bottom of the bottle there, and then we're going to pull this around like this and make the little neck scarf on the bottle. I better get out of the way here a little bit. And so I've got that. I'm going to put that in like this. And then there's a little bit of a drapery thing happening, and we're going to really, I've got to make sure that I get this even on both sides. So sometimes you can literally get your little ruler out and go, okay, I've got 1.5 inches here, 1.5 inches here, and then you can measure it out and draw it out all you want. It gets a little bit stiff sometimes, but if you are an accuracy fiend and you want to make sure it's just right, that's your thing too. I have screwed up enough paintings. I should probably be doing the same thing, but I don't always. So now I'm going to come back in, back and forth, and kind of just really just block it in like this. Okay, it's really dripping at this stage. That's all right. So I'm blocking it in, and I'm just filling that in with a little bit of tone. That's what I'm doing. All right, there's a tone. It looks pretty good so far, don't you think? So now I can actually come in at this stage. It's nice and juicy because I put a lot of thinner on there. And so now I'm going to I'm going to take this rag, and I'm going to come in and say, all right, I'm going to see a little highlight right about there. Look at that. See, I can make a highlight like that. I can come up here and make a little bottleneck highlight. The light's on this side, so I'm going to just drag that down. Now, I haven't considered this dark label that's in here. If I want, I can put a light label in. But I know this is going to be the darkest part of the bottle, like that. All right. I wanted to also say hi to, I think it's Liesel from Amsterdam or Denmark. I'm not exactly sure where she's from, but boy, she's been watching a lot of my videos, and I really appreciate it. So, I have about 130 videos. So it's, you can spend your whole life watching my videos if you want. Well, yeah, because I'm going to make more too. I do. I make more. Isn't that just beautiful? I love it. Yes. Okay. Now what's next? All right. This little neck of this, the little scarf comes around, and then it comes down like this in the background where I can see it. And so now I'm going to grab a little bit of blue, maybe a little magenta blue. So I got a little obscure purple, and I'm going to think about what the shape of this and how much distance there is between the bottle and the clock. And so I'm going to come in. I've got this fabric is coming across there, and then it bumps into that. So I've got to really, really make an observation like this, and then Let's see if I can figure this out. All right. Really looking at it hard now. Now remember, while we're at this, the glass is dark on the sides. The glass creates this dark outside rim. I just really lost control of my brush there. That's okay. Oh my goodness, it grew. And then we're going to come in, and I'm looking, and then I'm going to come down like this. This is the hard part. And then I'm going to bring that drapery over the top. Okay, let's bring that like that. And so the clock comes down and it hits right like that. Okay, I found it. I found the edge. Sometimes you just have to say, what is this in relationship to what is next to it? That's all. It's all a matter of angles and all kinds of weird things. The first thing you got to figure out are the angles, right? And then you figure out the tone, and then you figure out the color. That's the most important part. Okay, so I've got my label thing happening here. And then, so I'm going to get this. This is just the side of the clock, and then it kind of comes up like this. And then I have this depth right here. I think I'm asking myself a question. I'm saying, okay, how deep is this? What's the distance between this ring on the clock and where the next ring comes in? And I'm going to say, oh, it's about that far. Again, guesstimating to start with. And this is I'm thinking I need to kind of shift that clock because I can't see, I won't be able to see the numbers. So I'm going to shift it a little bit and really screw things up. Okay, there. Because I want to be able to put the numbers on the clock. So, Joe, if you're out there, happy wine time. I'm sure you're in bed right now, but maybe you'll catch this tomorrow. And it's so fun. My student Terry, she did this painting, and she had it in lavenders and blacks and all kinds of fun things. And wow, did it ever look like something right out of the Jetsons? It was just so funny. This kind of modern art from the 60s or the 50s almost, the way it turned out. It was really, really fun. So now, okay, I've got the bell. This is the bell. It kind of looks like the dinger on this thing. There's the dinger. And then the clock comes around like this. And then, this is going to be super cool. Okay, then I'm going to go in. I've got a little, there's the dinger, and then the other part of the thing. Now, I'm looking at the negative space. What does that mean? It means the space between the objects. So when I'm not sure where an object goes, I will think about, say, like for here, I'm looking not only at the bell right here, but I'm also looking at what is the shape between the bell and the little top of the headphone thing here. What is that shape? And it helps to give me the shape next to it, this shape right here. It helps me to figure out the placement of this bell right there, okay? So it's the space between things. That's the negative shape of stuff. And the more you can think about both the positive shape and the negative shape, the better your piece is going to be, because you're going to be able to see what's around an object as well as what the object is. So I've got this little mushroom looking thing. It goes out like that. Now let's go back to this and make sure we've got that correct. It'd be nice if we could just go super fast, but this is a little bit critical. So, okay, this is kind of fun. I'm going to start out, I'm going to go, all right, how much space is there between the bell and the top of the clock? There it is, right there. Little tiny, and does it go out beyond the bell? Well, I hope so. All right, a little bit beyond the bell, right there. Goes like that. And then it comes around like this. So there's that. There's the outside edge of the clock. And then this part comes in like this, like that, like that. All right, a reminder, everybody, if you can, enable your chat. Go on there and say hello and tell me where you're from. I'd love to know who's watching and get to know you a little bit better. It'd be awesome. Okay, so yes, we do have chat enabled. Yay, it's so fun. Okay, so now I've sort of got this to where I like it. I like it, I like it. And now I'm going to come in and I'll put a little darker line right here. And I'm going to say, all right, is the middle of the clock somewhere in there, I'm hoping. And it's going to be kind of like that. And it's going to be 4 o'clock. It's not really 4 o'clock. It's 7-ish. Time is it here? 7 something. 7:21. Wow, I'm messing around. Okay. So now I'm going to come in and we're going to figure this out. All right, there's one leg on the little thing. The cloth comes down, and let's get that other little leg in kind of a purple color. First, I'm going to get that bottom part, and then here this leg kind of comes out like that. This is the part that looks a little bit like the Jetsons. I don't know what it is. It's like their TV or something, that little TV thing. Now, I'm thinking about moving one thing, and that is my glass of wine. And you have the privilege to do that because it's your work. You know, you don't have to stick with what you laid down. So, partly because if I put that glass of wine right here, I'm going to have a weird imbalance and I'm not going to be able to see the stem. So, I want to see the stem because I like to paint the stem. So, I'm going to move that. I'm coming over here. I'm going to move this slightly over. And so we've got a little, now I'm going against what I just said. I've got this thing going here. The cloth is now going to be tying things together. And so I'm going to put that cloth, I'm going to put the cloth like this and then down like that. Okay, that's it. And then I have a little bit of a drapery thing happening here. So it's connect, connect, connect. And now I'm going to find out if my glass, yes, it still overlaps. Okay, still overlaps right here. And it hits the bell right there. And then I've got to figure out where the middle of that is. So I'm going to go, the glass is going to be, well, let's just do it this way. The glass of red wine is going to be about that width. It makes it so much easier if you do your painting in life size. Oh, and I'm right in front of that. That's really great. Now let's stand right in front and pretend like you can see. All right, so now I'm going to come back in and figure this out. So if you can do it life size, here's a little ellipse at the top. And then you don't have to worry about making those calculations like that. Okay, so now I have a little bit of space here, and it's going to look a little weird because I'm off to the side. And if I'm not off to the side, you can't see. Oh, well, okay. I need some glasses with little cameras on them, but then you'd be like seasick. It'd be real fun. Okay, now I'm going to take a little bit of blue just for fun. And we're going to take that and I'm going to bring this straight, ooh, kind of bring it straight down. Straight down. Might have to check it. Hang on, let me check it. Pretty close. Okay, I'm going to swing this bottom part down this way, like that. Okay, and then it's a little bit, let's see, we've got this kind of weird thing right there. And the bottom of it goes a bit like there's this triangle thing like this. Okay. And the clock kind of keeps it still coming out just a little bit over that way. Well, that's fun. That is fun. I could not believe last week when I realized all of a sudden I turned around and went, oh my gosh, we haven't been on for 12 minutes. It's just so funny when you realize you've been talking to yourself. You know, it feels like I used to be a radio disc jockey, you guys, a long time ago. And you feel like half the time you're talking to yourself because, you know, you don't know if anybody's listening. You don't know. But it's nice to know somebody's listening tonight. That's awesome. Okay, so now you see I've got this fabric is going to go across the front of that cup. So because the cup is just slightly underneath, I better get a little bit of thinner for that. Hang on. The cup is a little bit underneath. I'm just putting that in there's a little bit of thinner, and then I can wipe that off, and then I have the little cup like that. Okay, so I'm getting there. I'm getting there. I'm getting the layout of this, and I do want to bring that wine down a little bit farther. Or do I bring the glass up? Okay, just a sec. I don't want it too much further up. I know it's not exactly the same. It goes down. No, it's about right. So if I just have it, yes, that's just perfect. I think it's actually working. Now I'm going to make this dark. I'm going to use a little bit of phthalo blue in with my red, which is the, look how dark that is. Wow, it is really, really, really dark. Okay. And really pay attention. If you've got a setup, everybody, if you've got a setup, don't forget to, don't just assume you know what it is. Okay. And I'm just now looking and realizing that I'm doing the same thing. I've got to put this thing right there, and then I'm going to raise this up even higher. Yep, got to raise it up higher. Pretty neat. It's like Play-Doh. You can keep changing it out and wiping it off and fixing it. And so this is really nice and dark right next to that little dinger there. I like that. That makes it a lot easier for me to see that purple. That purple up against the silver is going to make it really, really interesting. Okay, and then I'm going to broaden that out just a little bit. So little by little. And then I'm going to take a little bit of blue and a little white. Yeah, this is a lavender color. And I'm going to make this sort of feel as though it's reflecting. See that? Ooh, that's pretty. A little reflection right here in the glass. It's going to be a reflection of the clock and some of the fabric over here like this. So there's a little bit of that purple. Now that lavender color is made with this beautiful color combination, which is phthalo blue and, I better double check, phthalo blue and then this primary red magenta. Is that it? No. Okay. It's primary red magenta. And so that makes a beautiful, beautiful lavender, which is wonderful for shadow colors, okay, when you're doing something as amazing as this. It's so great. I love it. Okay, I'm going to drop my little cord here. Now, all right, we're getting there. So next, what am I wanting to do? Well, let's take a little bit of our rag again, and I'm going to just kind of lift off a little bit of that paint, see if that works. There we go. And then I'm going to come down into the stem so it's not quite so solid, and I'll rub that in and out. And of course, we'll be painting that again to, it's not a purple stem, but it's going to have some reflections. So I'm going to pull out some of that. And now over here, I have the fabric is coming around here, and then it's coming up right about that angle right there is the top of the fabric. And then this part is a little bit dark with that purple color right here. That's going to be nice. We'll see how far we can get, you guys. This is pretty complicated, but not too bad. Not too bad. All right, now, before I get too far, I want a little bit of a red color. This is a cadmium red. That'll help us a little bit with our project. And before I get into it too much, I want to kind of adjust a little bit around here. I'm going to get a little bit more of that thinner. This is just kind of dirty terps. And I can get that wet. I'm going to add that. And it's kind of the same color as the bottle almost, but that's okay. Okay. So I get it wet, and then I take my little towel, and then I can wipe that down a little bit and take off all of my correction marks like this. Yeah. And then I'm going to go back in again with the purple, that beautiful lavender. We've got this shoulder, and then I've got a secondary piece of fabric that comes around and swings around like that. Of course, you want to get into some bigger bottles at some point, but that's where we're at. Okay, next I'm going to take some of our primary red magenta, which is a reddish purple, and I'm going to add some cadmium red light. It's a very orangish red. And I'm going to come down here and say, all right, where's the top of our label? Here's our label. It goes like that. And then Remember, it's not a straight line across. The bottle is round, so make sure it's round. You want the bottom of the label to be round and the top of the bottle to be round. And so the label, and then you can come back in, and then it gets a little bit brighter red here, and then I'm going to come up and do this part. This comes up about there, and there's that beautiful red top to that bottle there. Good. Like that. And then I can highlight that with a little bit of orange if I want, in the middle of that. Let's see what happens when I take a little bit of Indian yellow, a little bit of cad red light, and a tiny bit of white. I don't want to add too much white. I got to be careful. And then I can come in like right about like this and make a little bit of a lighter. It didn't really register, so I'm going to put some white on there and see what happens. Might have to use a Q-tip here. All right, I want to lighten that up. There we go. That's lighter. And then up here like this. And then I will put that dark green back in at the very top because you can still see the dark green rim once it's been open like that. Okay, like that. Oh, it looks like there's a flower stem coming out at the top. Huh, that's funny. Okay, well, dark, dark, dark green right here. Very, very dark, right until it gets to the neck, or it is the neck. It's not until it hits the shoulders right there, and it's dark, 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 like that on that side. Gets darker and darker, a little bit more dark down here underneath, and then this is white. Okay. And then right here, we've got this little, character that comes in here. But I need a dark value, so I'm going to take some dark blue, some magenta, and some sap green. That makes a really good dark black kind of color. And then I'll just kind of give you an idea of what that label is going to go look like at some point. It's going to have that really dark label like that, as those Cabernets can be. And I'll leave some room for that little character for later and kind of paint around it a little bit like that. Now that label wraps around, so that'll be on the, pardon me, on the edge of the bottle like that. And there's that dark label. We'll put the little girl's face here, and she's dancing and doing something crazy right here. So, and then we'll get even darker as we go down the bottle, darker and darker. I'm realizing how dark this really is. Then I can come in with I'm just going to goof off for a second and come in with a little bit of white and put in a highlight right there. And then one on the rim of the bottle like that. And a little bit of a highlight just kind of stringing down straight like that. Hope that makes some sense to you. Okay, good. Now, what's happening over here? Well, I've got the edge of the clock is dark, very, very dark. Now we kind of know where it is. So it's that dark value. One more time. And then we're going to don't look and say, oh, I got to paint this bell. No, just look at where the dark shadows are and then put those shadows in. Okay. If you can see it, you can paint it. If you can't see it, well, I don't know what to tell you there, but just keep looking until you can figure it out. Okay. Just keep looking at it. So now I'm going to come in right here and we're going to go, I'm realizing I need some Neo Meghelp, so let's get some of that here in a second. Generally, you don't want to start with that right off the bat. So it goes like that. And then this is the inside ridge, and then this part goes like that, like that, and like that, and like that, in an ellipse. It's not totally round, it's slightly oval shape. And the bottom should not, it only goes to there, and then we have that leg. Okay, so that's that. Then the shadow of this silver is a brownish blue. Pardon me. Wow, my theme song is getting sung quite a bit tonight. That's my clearing of my throat is my theme song. Isn't that fun? And then this is very, very dark right here. Okay, and all these numbers are going to be fun for somebody at some point. But right now we're not going to worry too much about that. Okay, now I'm going to take my Indian yellow on my brush and I'm going to mix a ton of white with it. and give it a little bit of a warm face of the clock. It looks a little bit too green. I'm going to go back in again with my red and warm it up a little bit more. And then we'll go like this. Okay, here we go. A little bit of that kind of warm color. Now, it doesn't really look that warm, but I'm exaggerating. I want to exaggerate everything I paint, okay? I don't want to paint it exactly like it looks. Some of you may want to do that. That's part of who you are, and you like to make it look exactly like it is. That's called realism. I am leaning towards impressionism. I've always been a bit of a realist, and the older I get, the more I feel like I want to move in this kind of impressionistic way of painting. And there's two reasons for that. Number one, the older you get, the more difficult it is to see. And so you can see when Renoir was painting in his 90s, he couldn't see, and he had hands that were more gnarly than mine. And so you get to where you can't hold the paintbrush quite the same. And so you do that. But you also do it by choice because you want your viewer to enjoy the process of being able to contribute to what's going on in the painting. And so you don't want to just fill everything in for them. You want to do something a little bit different so that they can have something to do, have something to look at. All right, now I've got my lavender color and I've added a little bit of Indian yellow to it. I want to see what happens. Now, this canvas is so dry. I'm going to lay my brushes down and I'm going to use some of our little magic goop like this. This is Neo Maygill. Okay, so this is our medium, and it is what we put down on the palette so that the paint will go farther and a little bit more smoothly, and it also gives it a little bit of a sheen when it dries later on. So that's pretty neat. So now let's get in here and see where was I now? Okay, now I'm going to go back up in here on this part. I'm going to come in with a little bit of this lavender with a little bit of yellow, and we're going to fill this bell in like that, and then I'm going to go like this, and then I'm going to come up like that again, and we'll fill in this bell. Then I'm going to put the highlights and the lowlights in that like that, like this. Okay, and then I'm going to find a little bit of the dark, which is going to be our dark purple with a little bit of orange, maybe a little bit of red, blue. It's just a kind of a mishmash. I just don't do black and white. I don't want to do black and white for gray. Nope, I don't. I've got purple. I've got all kinds of choices right here, like that. And then over here, I've got some choices. Let's see. Here's my dark right here. So I'm looking for those darks and trying to find them. There's a dark underneath. You know, just kind of sucking them in there like that. Okay. There's a dark under the bell there. Now, where's the lights? Well, you can't see the lights until you put some middle tone and dark in here. Now I can see the lights. There, look at that. Socked a little bit of that yellow with white, and I'm going to come in here like that. Put a little bit there, and put a little bit right where the light hits that bell, just like that. And then the same thing, I'm going to come in with our dark purple, and it's going to be purple. See what happens. If I put our dark blue, our red, our, let's see, what is this? Our magenta. And then I'm going to put in just a little bit of yellow. There, perfect, perfect color. So Indian yellow, Prussian blue, and a little bit of magenta. Let's see what happens. Okay, now I'm filling that in. That's a beautiful grayish color. I'm not filling the whole thing in. I'm just kind of finding where the darks are, like that. I'm going to see if that goes out a little bit further. Yeah, maybe a little bit like that. There. Now it's starting to look as though it's making sense, doesn't it? So, okay, a little bit of that dark color goes underneath. A little earpiece like that. And this is cutting off right about there. And then of course, I'm going to get back in here when you're not looking, and I'll keep playing around with that a little bit. I do want to show you towards the end of our show today a piece that I've been working on, and it might take me a little maneuvering because I didn't think about this until it was a little bit late. Okay, here's a little bit of our yellowish color, which is kind of, it's going to be reflection of the blanket, or the fabric, and it's going to come across like that, a little bit like this, so you're kind of aware of what's going on. And then we have a little bit of light that goes right there, just lights it up. It's kind of a warm light. I love it. Nice warm light there. And then I have another one right there, starting to look shiny. Yay, that's great. And let's put a little bit more of that sheen right there as it comes up and across. And then I'm going to put this in the bottom of the glass. Oh, hey, that worked out really good. I like that. Bottom of the glass. And then I'm going to come over here and give this light bluish color, put that into the stem of the glass because it's really kind of the background. There we go. Background of what is behind shining through a little. And then this is even lighter there. Okay, that's nice. That works like that and like that. All right. So, all right, now got to get a bigger brush because we've got to really haul on this thing and get something going on. There we go. All right, now I'm going to get a fat brush. This looks good. And we're going to now come in with some purple with a little bit of white, our Prussian blue, our red, and a white with a tiny bit of the Indian yellow. It's just a bunch of different colors that go in, and we take it across like this, like that, and we find our darks that go like this, and we begin working that drapery like that, just like that. And I'm going to pick up a little bit of medium, get a little bit more blue in there, and we're making this violet, beautiful violet color. Now this part seems to be quite violet going across like this. I don't know why, but it just is. And then we've got this piece of fabric, and I'm just using a nice big, huge piece of a paintbrush and laying in a bit of that shadow. There's a little bit right in here. And then this is going to come around. Then this has a little bit of a dark. See, I'm making this tube right here. I'm making a little tube. And it works out good. It really does. Okay. And then we'll bring this across. I'm just going to, oh, it looks, you can see the little bit of yellow that comes out of that too. It likes that a lot. Okay, good. And I've got this background color, which is really, really dark. I don't know if I really like that. I don't have to use that. It just happens to be the drape in my studio, so I don't have a choice right at the moment. And then I'm going to take the lighter color, a little white, on with that same mix and find the highlights. Now, your drapery is none other than a dark, a middle tone, and a light, and then you have a little highlight and a cast shadow. So it's dark, middle tone, light, middle tone, dark, middle tone, light, middle tone, dark. So I'm going to put this light, this is a middle tone right there. And we're just laying in the middle tones, and then here's a little bit there. And then you can add some more of the light, or you can just leave it out and find it. So I'm going to add a lot more white to it. I don't generally paint with straight white, you guys. I will paint with a little bit of color and the white, but I'm going to mix that on to this thing. So here I go. I'm going to go a little bit of yellow into my white because it makes it feel more light. And I'm going to put that right there. So I have a dark, a middle tone, and a light. And then it goes back into middle tone and then dark again like that. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Let me know if you have any questions because you can put them right on your little chat. Yes, you can. So see how easy that is? It's just a 1.5 inch brush or whatever this is. And you just keep making little things of dark, middle tone, light, middle tone, dark. And you just create this beautiful scenario like that. And then I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm going to say, all right, right here is a little bit of a light right here. That's a middle tone and a dark. There's the dark and the middle tone. And then I'm going to go in with the light. Here's the light at the top of the thing. There we go. So it's a kind of a dark middle tone light, middle tone dark. Here is the darkish there, and I'm creating a middle tone with that. And then we'll bring this down and just kind of drag that around the cup like a piece of fabric that it is. There we go. And then I'm going to use that same color, fill in the blanks right here. Don't want to forget what's going on. Don't get fussy. Don't get fussy. There. Okay, here's a little dark. Don't get fussy on it. The more fussy you get, the more agitated your viewer is going to get. Okay. If you're looking at something that's super, super detailed and already has everything filled in, well, that might really, make somebody really excited. But not everybody likes that. So you want to give some viewers something to do and make it nice and calm and flowing and, really just enjoy it. Enjoy the process like this. Okay. So, all right. That's pretty good. Let's see. What's our time now? We are at, we still got like 10 minutes. Good job. All right. So now, what am I going to do with this background? The background, I can make it really as dramatic as it really is. I'm not really sure I want to do that. Maybe I will. Okay. All right. I'm going to go in with the blue and the green and the gold. Oh, God. All right. So how do I get this bottle to pop off if it's the same color as the background? Well, I'm going to put this dark. Remember my drapery thing? Dark. It goes like that. And then there's a tube of drapery that goes like this. So I'm going to put that dark in like that. And then where does it come out? Comes out. Here's a little bit of red and green. And it comes out. This is a little bit more of a that shape in the dark. Comes right down to the bottle. Then it's going to come out down here a little bit like that. And that will set off that white a little bit like that too. So now I'll pull this up and I see that there's a bit of a drape there. That's nice. I like that. And then I'll take a little bit of my yellow. This is my Indian yellow. Mix it with, I haven't cleaned my brush. I've got the same colors on my brush. And now I'm going to come in here with that kind of light green color and fill that in a little bit. It's a little bit the same color as well, not really, as the jar, as the wine bottle. Not too much. I'd really like to make it a little more orange, so I'm going to add some cad red to it, like right there, because it looks too sweet. And when it's too sweet, that means it's too much of the pure color, which is just a bit much for me sometimes. So I'm going to add some other colors. And I don't know if I'll keep this. I'm going to probably really make some major adjustments at some point. Now, one of the things that when you've got a really dark bottle edge right here like that, all right, how are you going to make that to where you can see it? Well, you're going to make it lighter behind it. So we're going to ignore this part for a second, and I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so now I'm lightening up this background right here. So you can see the bottle like that. And then I'm going to come up alongside it and curve it out. And using the negative space, I'm going to now kind of put that in like that. It's a kind of a nasty looking green color, but I'm going to be adjusting that in a bit. There. So the greens are interesting because they're all different. This is a different green than that. Then I can kind of blop that out and just make it not quite so important like this. Good. And then put a little bit of that background color, just a little bit in the bottle, not much. And then I'm going to go back in with that orangish color orangish yellowish color on the bottle. Like that. Wow. I love painting wine bottles. They're so fun. They really are. A lot of fun. Okay, now the next thing is we'll just kind of give this a little bit of background. We're not going to be able to get too far tonight because it's just a lot of things. But at least you'll have something to kind of enjoy the process of. We're getting real excited about Winter Carnival coming up the 23rd of the month, 23rd of February, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Not as crazy as in years past when we've done this for 2 weeks every year, and there's tons of snow sculptures. I'm telling you, I think we got enough to get a few sculptures started. That's all I'm saying. I don't know. They're saying you can make sculptures out of silly string if you want. They're a little desperate right now. But it'll always be fun no matter what. It's always fun. Okay, now what I'm seeing over here is that I've got a really dark value right here. And this is a dark value. And so if I get this dark value around my, my clock, I'm not going to be able to see that very well. So I may have to lighten that up. I have to decide whether I want to have the, I'm going to throw a little of the background in here too. If I want to have it just barely kind of emerging from the thing, or do I want to really, really pop it up? Like now I'm going to do this like a mint green over here, light green like that, so that we can still see the glass. That's better. And we'll just fill that in. If I want that to look transparent, I'm going to come in and put that background color inside the glass right there like that. Just like that. I'm going to cover that up actually. And then we'll put the background and merge it with the other dark background right there. I always call this the first layer of many. I don't know. There's sometimes you want to just do it all a primo, which means all at once. And I might just leave it like this. Any votes out there? Give me a thumbs up if you like it just the way it is. I don't know. We'll see. We shall see. I'm going to put the little girl in here. I think that would be fun. Little head snapper girl. That would be good. And then the top part of that wine, let's see. Let's get that going. You can see this is extremely impressionistic, which isn't another word for bad. Okay? Just saying. It's not another word for bad. It just means it's loose and fun. And this is, you can start it at this level and then take it to another level, or you can just leave it if you really like it this way. Okay, I'm giving a little bit of that light green into the clock because that really kind of is reflecting from the background. I've decided that I kind of like that a little bit. And then this part is going to be a little more silver. Okay, we don't need all that. And then I'm going to get some yellowish color, mix it with white, and we'll put in a little bit of a reflection there. I've got just this great big huge brush. It's so fun. And that keeps it nice and loose when you do it that way. You don't have a tiny 2 hair and some airbrush. You've got this big giant brush you can't paint little tiny things with. So if you're worried about being too tight, get a bigger brush, 2 sizes bigger than what you normally would, and then you can get her done. And it'll be a lot faster, and you won't, get so fussy with it. Okay, now on the top part, we're going to take a little bit of that magenta again, and I'm going to lighten it up just a tiny bit on this surface right here. Lighten it up just a little bit. There, kind of like that. Maybe a tiny, I'm going to get a little smaller brush. This is getting silly. And I'm going to put a little bit of a highlight on the back part right there. And a little bit on the front part right here. And some on the edge of the cup, of the glass. Then over here, I'm going to put a little bit of that. Where do I see the light? Kind of going like that. Just look at what you're painting. Look at what you're painting. Look at the object that you're trying to paint and then try to match that up a little bit on your canvas. Don't assume you know what a wine glass looks like. Don't assume. And then you'll know that you've kind of done your best on that. That looks kind of fun, doesn't it? I like it so far. Okay, little area here for the girl. She's going to have a purpley dress. I might as well put that purpley dress on. And we'll put her little body is going to go like that. And then she'll have some little legs and some little red hair and some little arms and stuff. You're not going to get too much into that. That's just silly. You might not do any of it. And then there's a little lettering and all that. You can get really into a lot of crazy detail if you really want. But I'm painting the negative shape around it, and then I'll maybe paint some words in it after it dries. It's easier after it dries to paint some words in. Okay, that looks pretty neat. I like that. Yeah. All right. So that, I'm enjoying this very, very much, but I wanted to show you something before we finish up. Oh my goodness, if I got paint on my hands, I look like I've been a part of a bad accident here. All right. And sometimes it's a good idea, if you're working with cadmium colors, to wear gloves whenever you know, are painting with different things. You want to be a little, or just get in there. Don't eat your fingers, number one. But wash your hands, wash your hands, wash your hands. Don't be sanding stuff down either. You know, just remember that. Okay, now, before we take off, I'm going to just take my microphone off for just a sec, and I'm going to remember that I did, and come back. I have a huge painting that is going to be going into the gallery very shortly for the spring show. Okay. Oh, I'm all tangled up. Well, that's fun. Maybe I won't do that after all. Okay. Oh, I've cut loose. I'm going to grab a giant painting and I'm going to try to put it into the screen for you. Hold on. Don't go away. Uh-oh. Drop the microphone. All right. Okay. I don't think you can see this. It's too big. Okay. There. Okay. Everybody, can you see that? I gotta see what I'm doing. And it looks like we are out of time. But anyway, I hope you can see this big one. I will show it to you again next time. And so that is, oh, I think I just lost my screen. Anyway. Okay. Love you guys. And we will talk to you. I'm not sure what I just did. I cannot seem to see my screen. Isn't that fun? Okay, hold on. There it is. Okay. There it is. I have a disaster in about 2 seconds. Okay, that's the big flower one. Isn't that pretty? Okay, now I'm going to set it down. It's very heavy. Ooh, isn't that nice? I put black stuff in it, black stripes, and big, huge tulips. Someday, maybe I'll show you how to do that. Ooh, my goodness. Okay, microphone. That'd be good. I've lost my microphone. There we go. Anyway. Okay, guys. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Okie doke. I will talk to you again next week. Don't forget to come visit me at the gallery at Gallery 55 tomorrow. I'll be there doing a demonstration in the afternoon from noon to about 4 in the afternoon in McCall, Idaho. And we'll see you again next Thursday night. Same time, same place. Hope. All right. Love you guys, and we'll talk to you again soon. Bye for now.